What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Checkpoint, our bi-weekly gaming podcast here on the Geek XP. I'm Carson, like I just said. We got Nate here.
Hey.
For the first time in like a month.
It's been a while.
Nate's finally back. He's alive. And we got Marley.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
So, guys, what have we been playing? And it's more than just Breath of the Wild this time.
Yeah. Well, I have since beaten Breath of the Wild. Great game. It was amazing. I don't want to gush on it because we've already done a lot of that.
I mean, it's alright. Don't get ahead of yourself.
But I've been playing Shovel Knight Treasure Trove Edition.
On your Switch?
On my Switch, which is
Nice.
awesome. I played the Overwatch event with all of you.
Yep,
Awesome.
Very
which was
fun.
very cool.
Yep.
And I have recently started The Witcher 3.
Whew. Tell us a little bit about that, Marley, because we've both played Witcher and we love it.
Played the shit
I imagine it's pretty,
It's
how do I say,
jarring.
it's a lot, right?
It's heavy.
Um,
There's a lot to it.
yeah, so
Especially coming from
right
Breath
off
of
the
Wild.
bat, I love the story aspects of it. Like, the
Yeah.
Witcher contracts are really cool.
Yeah.
I will say the world is not as much fun to explore as Hyrule is. Like, I fall off of stuff and I die, and I'm like, why did he die?
Yeah, the color palette's very brown, too.
Very brown.
Yeah. So the world's a little more difficult to get around in.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess it's not as versatile as Hyrule is.
Sure.
And the combat is a lot. Especially compared to Breath of the Wild, which is so simple in its combat. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like, I rather enjoyed the simplicity
Yeah.
of the combat in Breath of the Wild. And there's a lot to keep track of in The Witcher. I am constantly forgetting the button mapping.
Yep.
Yep.
I used too many potions at once, and apparently that poisons Geralt.
Yeah.
I didn't... But I am enjoying myself. I think it's just... Maybe I jumped into it too soon after Breath of the Wild. Like, maybe I should have given myself some more cooldown time.
Probably.
I'll say this about Witcher. It's kind of unfortunate, but I think the weakest part about Witcher is the gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's bad.
No.
I'm not saying it's bad. I think, everything else about that game
It's
is better.
fantastic.
It's, fantastic. The characters, the storytelling, the music, all that stuff is amazing. And the
Love the
gameplay is alright.
It feels like there's this, barrier to entry. And what sucks is, it feels like, and not that the game sucks, but what sucks about the situation is I feel like the gameplay is keeping me from getting to the stuff that I really care about, which is the stories in these Witcher contracts and stuff like that. But I'm gonna, like I said, I'm enjoying myself. I'm going to make my way through it, albeit I'll probably do it slowly.
Sure.
But I'm enjoying myself. It's cool.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Dark fantasy.
Yeah. It's this weird blend of, high fantasy and, Game of Thrones, which is kind of, low fantasy and stuff. But it's cool.
Yeah. So Nate, you started Breath of the Wild.
I did.
But before you get into that, tell us a little bit about Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay.
We've been waiting.
It's been what? A month and a half since I beat that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. That game was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Um,
Would you say it's Sony's best exclusive game?
so
for the
far,
PS4?
It's probably the one I enjoyed the most
Yeah.
out of
Wow.
all.
What about Uncharted? That's tough, right?
I can't.
It's got to be between those two. I would, in my mind.
Well,
Yeah.
for
but
best
then there's
exclusive?
Second Son.
so Last of Us was an exclusive? No.
PS3.
It was PS3. But Second Son was fantastic, and the story
Yeah.
for Second Son was great. But Horizon just... I keep wanting to go to Call of Log Horizon.
That's an anime, guys.
Yeah. No, but Horizon... Dino robots,
Yeah.
and then fighting them with a bow and arrow was just a really fun combo.
Obviously, Horizon copied from Breath of the Wild.
Of course.
It's so obvious.
They came out at just about the same time, too.
I'm joking, everybody.
But I also love the mystery behind the world of how these robots came to be and the slow reveal of all of that.
Can't wait to play that.
You really need to play it.
I know I'll love it.
We got cool posters from GameStop
We did.
for it.
I gotta say, the one downside in going into Breath of the Wild after that is the exploration is fun. Yeah. But I don't like in Breath of the Wild. Like I climb to some high peak, I see something really cool I want to climb. Yeah. I don't really get that feeling in Horizon. There's a bunch of really cool dungeons, like specific dungeons that let you at the end you can hijack and take control of more different dinosaurs. But beyond that, you can run around and just it's cities that have all turned to rumble.
Now in Horizon, do they pinpoint your like points of interest for you?
Yes.
I don't know if this is going to happen, but after Breath of the Wild, I'm wondering if game developers are going to maybe cut back on that kind of stuff a little bit.
It depends on... I know a lot of games you can buy maps and they'll add them to your map.
Yeah.
Like you can buy a map, it'll show you where the collectibles are. Mm-hmm. But unless your game is very... Like Breath of the Wild have these towers that are scattered everywhere, and from there you can pretty much see everything you need to see. Unless your game's built that way, you can't. And not every game can be built that way, and not everyone's gonna build their game that way.
Even without the towers, I think part of what made Breath of the Wild so much fun was just stumbling upon stuff.
Seriously, yeah.
And not having a million markers on your map, because
I agree.
That's one thing about The Witcher. That map is overwhelming.
Yeah.
All them question marks.
All those questions, like it's really overwhelming.
And when you get to a town and read like their listings of like contracts, that opens up a bunch of extra question marks.
The notice boards.
The
you
notice
just
boards,
get a crap ton of more ones.
So
other than Horizon, like Shovel Knight, dude.
Yeah.
I got back into Shovel Knight after I beat the main story. About maybe a couple days ago or last week, I started Spectre Knight's story.
He's so cool.
He's so much like Shovel Knight's great, and I will always love it. But Spectre Knight is so much fun. His fighting style and like his moves and things like that are great, and his little story. You get every so often you do enough of the missions.
Yep.
You get a mission backstory.
That's awesome.
That you get to play through, and it's so much fun. Like so far. I played like 2 boss fights of Plague Knight.
Yeah.
And I haven't touched him since.
Wowzers.
Spectre Knight I'm just having so much fun with.
Yeah, Shovel Knight, it's such a good package.
Yeah.
I think I got Treasure Trove was like $24.
Yeah, it was like nothing.
But like you get the main Shovel Knight campaign, get Plague Knight, you get Spectre Knight, you'll get King Knight too.
Yeah, King Knight.
And then co-op, and on the Switch you get the amiibo functionality and all that too.
Yeah. That's cool.
So great. What about you, Carson?
So, Overwatch Uprising is fantastic. Got me an awesome Genji skin. Had to buy it, though.
But you hate Genji.
I love Genji. Not that great with him, like, in the long run, but he's just so much fun to play.
Yeah. You gonna play Hero of the Storm to play as
No. Not gonna play Heroes of the Storm.
But, Carson, in Heroes of the Storm, his dance emote is the Go Ninja Go Ninja Go dance.
That is cool.
From the hit film TMNT 2.
Wait, is it really?
Secret of the Ooze. It is.
I appreciate Blizzard for their fan service. Halo Wars 2, I revisited because what happened with me in that game is I bought it and I played it a little bit. I made one gameplay video for the channel, which did very poorly. And then Breath of the Wild came out shortly after.
Yeah.
And I was just in that game for a long time.
Yeah.
Finally revisited Halo Wars this past weekend. Played it most of the weekend, beat the story.
How was it?
Played a bunch of multiplayer. It was a good story. It left it off with potential for a third game. We'll talk more about Halo Wars in the actual topic for the show.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been playing. I want to buy Fast RMX. I want to buy I Am Setsuna, but Mario Kart is coming out very soon. So
Friday.
We're going to be playing a lot of that, guys, so expect some gameplay of that.
Yeah.
And then maybe after I get off that Mario Kart high, I'll get back to those third-party games.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah, so let's get into the topic. So the topic this week, everybody, is so far the games that came out this year.
Okay.
Like highlight games, the big games.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start kind of at no particular order necessarily, but one that's kind of like standing out to me right now was kind of like a sleeper hit was Neo.
Oh yeah, the samurai.
Yep, very Dark Souls-ish, but a Japanese game like through and through. Dark Souls is a Japanese game too.
It is.
But this was more of like an actual Japanese setting.
Was
believe,
this
right?
Ninja Theory?
I didn't even hear this game. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right?
Yeah, it's about. So it's like a fictional version of history.
Yeah.
And it's about It's about like the first white guy that gets made a samurai.
Classic.
And like he was an actual person in history, so you can't get mad at them for it.
Yeah.
What was the game called?
Neo. NIOH.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
And PS4 exclusive, I believe.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and it's like a Dark Souls action RPG.
Apparently the difficulty is very high. It's a very hard game.
Yeah.
I'm looking at pictures right now. This looks freaking ridiculous.
It's a very hard game.
Yeah, but
I mean,
it was
like
received very well though. Very good reviews.
Everyone that I listened to that has played it has loved it.
Yeah.
Including a lot of people who don't enjoy the Souls games.
Yeah.
And for that type of game, if you can get someone on board, that says a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I led with Sleeper Hit. I would so far this year that is the game that flew under the radar totally. I didn't even know it existed or was in development. This game came out of nowhere.
I didn't know about it until an episode of IGN's PlayStation podcast.
Yeah.
I was listening to and they were talking about it. I had never heard of it.
Yeah. We got For Honor as well, which I was
kind
tempted to buy it.
Yeah, that's where I was.
Yeah.
Apparently the player base has fallen off,
which is
pretty hard, and Ubisoft wasn't supporting the game very well, and it has some very aggressive microtransactions apparently.
Ubisoft.
That's such a shame.
It's a really cool game in concept.
It's an awesome concept.
And I think the gameplay's pretty solid too.
Yeah.
It has a good battle system.
I've got friends that have it and love it, but that's not going to do me any good if they're the only ones playing it.
Right.
Yeah.
The gameplay I've seen, it just looks like so much fun.
Yeah, I was having fun watching some gameplay. I think Ubisoft might have been hoping it could be like an esport type game.
Not with transactions.
That's what I was going to bring up is they were I think they were putting a lot of eggs in that basket.
Yeah.
So that's a shame.
Last I heard of it, I think it sold pretty well, but I don't think its longevity is very good.
I'm curious what its attach rate is.
Yeah.
How many copies are being traded in versus how many copies were bought.
Yeah.
Did they just release new DLC too?
I think they did.
Another set of fighters?
Yeah.
I think, they added 2 new ones.
The problem is March was stacked with games.
Yes.
And when, Horizon hit, it was all about Horizon. Then Zelda hit, it was literally Zelda the entire month of March.
Yeah, when Horizon and then Zelda came out, a week later?
Yeah, a week later.
And then there were a handful of people playing Nier in there.
Yeah, there was Nier, Atomic. We talk about Nier. I know Marley really wanted to buy Nier. And it looked like a super cool game. Platinum Games is amazing.
Robot waifus. Nate loves when we talk about waifus.
I don't get it.
But yeah, Nier looks super cool. What was another one? So we had Zelda, of course, which we've gushed a lot about.
That was Sleeper went right under the radar.
Yeah, Sleeper hit.
Nobody saw it.
Little
Sleeper
indie
hit.
company. I think they're from Japan.
How do you pronounce it? Nintendo.
How do you say?
Nintendo.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got Fast RMX, which I keep saying I want to play.
Do you want to play it?
I do.
You do?
I really do. Because I believe that's the way for me to tell Nintendo I want an F-Zero game.
An F-Zero game would be
If
great.
I send money their way and buy a game that's basically F-Zero, they'll be like, oh, people are buying this game. Maybe we should give Captain Falcon some limelight.
No.
I don't know.
You get him in Smash, that's it.
I mean, I'm fine with that. As long as we get another Smash, that's fine. He's basically he's almost Smash Brothers mascot in a way.
Right.
In a sense, Mario, I guess always will be because he's Mario, but
Mario.
Captain Falcon just has this ridiculous kind of I don't know, there's this mentality, he's got the Falcon Punch, which
I knew
all
about
of his
him.
moves are made up, by the way, too. He's just a racer. They had to make up his moveset. There's no canon.
I knew about him from Smash Bros.
That's the only way I knew him. That's the only way I knew him.
Same. I think for... Yeah. I know he had like Super Nintendo games and stuff, but
Yeah.
Like to me, that's his game. Like he's from that.
Yeah.
Not from anything.
I mean, that's how I got introduced to the Fire Emblem characters, was
really?
through Smash
Yeah.
Bros. Melee. Yeah, Roy and Marth.
Same
Roy's
here.
our boy.
Yep. Did Watch Dogs 2 come out early in the year?
No.
Didn't. I think Watch
Or
Dogs
was
2
that in
last-
2016?
It's 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been out for a bit.
So we're not going to talk about that.
Oh, fuck
Old
that
news.
game. Yeah, it's 2016.
Nier so far, that's the big one I want to play.
Yeah.
I mean, I did want to play Mass Effect, but I'm
Mass Effect. Talk about it.
All right.
That's a whole.
That series
beehive.
has a very, very special place in my heart.
Yeah.
I love that's probably in my top 5
It's a great game
game
series.
series
Uh-huh.
of all time. It's like the first big sci-fi universe I got invested in other than Star Wars.
Yes.
Like I put it up there with that. With Andromeda, listen, I get it. It was pretty much an all-new team. So maybe they weren't as experienced.
That's a nice way to put it.
And there's no denying that making those kinds of games is really hard. But it just got closer and closer to release, and I was just hearing more and more. And, like, to be fair, it was, like, a lot of websites, it was hitting, like, 7s.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad
It's
score.
not a bad score.
Nope.
But when it comes to Mass Effect and BioWare...
You have a bar.
I have a bar, and it is very high. And I'm sorry, but I expect 8.5s and 9s.
Yeah.
Like, they set a standard, and it's up to them to meet that standard.
Yeah.
Right.
You're probably the biggest Mass Effect fan I personally know.
Yeah.
And that says a lot for you not to go out and buy that day one.
Yeah.
And I know you're not the only one. I listened to a bunch of podcasts, and I've heard other people that love that franchise, and they haven't even bought the game yet. There's that
I
negative...
was ready to go out and buy it, and then shit just hit the fan with it.
I was trying to get through Breath of the Wild as quickly as I could
Yeah.
for that game.
Yeah,
and then
man.
the review started happening, and I was like,
What's the point?
yeah, I was like, you know what? I've got a great, well put together game here that's taken up plenty of my time.
Yeah.
And it hurt, like, and I will play it eventually. Come November, there will probably be a Game of the Year edition. At that point, they will probably
Right.
have patched a lot of it.
Right.
They've already started to. Yeah.
They've already started to. Some of the DLC will probably be in there,
Yeah.
and I'll play it then. It'll probably, I'll
Cheaper, too.
Cheaper too.
Yep.
It hurts because it's a franchise that I love. And the lore junkie in me is a little annoyed that I'm not all caught up, that I don't know everything about it. Now there's this
Yeah.
chunk of this universe that I care about that I don't know about.
Yeah.
Here's a filthy casual now.
I know. And I'm still excited to play it. Like, I hear the story and the characters are good, which is, to me, the most important part of Mass Effect.
Yeah.
So, I will get to it eventually, but it's kind of sad that BioWare is not one of those studios that I gotta rush. Like, when a new BioWare game was announced, I was like, oh man, we could rush out, buy it day one.
Yeah.
Without any questions, because that's BioWare. I know I can trust them, but
Not anymore.
now it's like...
Did you play Inquisition?
I did not.
What kept you away from that?
Dragon Age never got me.
Okay. So you haven't had a BioWare game in a while, right?
Yeah.
What was the last one you had?
3?
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect 3?
Woo!
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah, because... So, Dragon Age 1 irked me that my character couldn't talk.
Okay.
Like, and I was just coming off Mass Effect 1 and 2. So I was like, why isn't this as good as those?
Yeah.
Dragon Age 2, the gameplay was really weird.
It is.
Okay.
And that's, I think, amongst the fan base, that's the most disliked game. And then by the time Inquisition came around, like, they had added all the stuff from Mass Effect that I wanted them to, like the speaking character and the more action-oriented combat, but, like, it's the third game in a franchise with a lot of lore. Like, they could say it was an easy time for beginners to come on all they want, but I know that wasn't true. They said that about Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3 is so not a welcome game for beginners.
And to go back to Witcher real quick, I think Witcher 3 was pretty forgiving in coming in. For me personally, it was a little overwhelming at first.
Yeah,
like, there was a few lore things I was like, what is Karamoran? I have no idea what.
Or like when you get to that one point and they ask you questions
all those
about
questions.
the past.
So when they're talking about that war, I have no idea.
There's that initial bar that I thought was a little hard to get through, but once you get acclimated to The Witcher 3, I thought it was pretty forgiving and like it was fine.
Yeah.
I did have to look up a few things quickly.
Yeah.
But Mass Effect. It's probably a great idea to wait till later.
Yeah,
like you were saying, and the patches will be all done, Game of the Year edition, all that. Now I know this wasn't necessarily set up to be like a new trilogy. So my theory, unfortunately, is this might be a one-shot game. If it didn't sell well.
What has me worried is I don't know how it sold, and if it did not do hot, coupled with the reviews, I'm kind of worried that this is what the Mass Effect universe is going out on.
That'd be terrible.
And that
this is really bad.
This is it. Which, I mean, that's probably up there in like the most beloved franchises of all time, or it was.
Yeah.
It's a little sad to see that happen.
Personally, Mass Effect 3, I remember the hype for that game. And I'm sure you guys, I think when I told you guys this, you were like, why are you doing this? But I just jumped in on Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Because the buzz got to me. I was like, what is going on?
Hype train.
Blah, 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 blah. I watched some like catch-up videos on what happened and stuff, and I heard Mass Effect 2 was amazing.
Yeah.
But I think at the time I didn't really have time to go back. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to hop right in.
How'd that go for you?
It was fine. Like, at the end of the day, I wasn't a big fan of the gameplay. So I got through the story and stuff, and I thought the end was kind of weird. Yeah. And I was expecting more consequences, like in Mass Effect 2, for your choices, and I didn't get that, so I was kind of bummed. But yeah, so that's Mass Effect for me.
I haven't played them in a long time.
Yeah. I can talk about Halo Wars 2 a little bit here.
Go for it.
I'm going to say right now that game did not sell well. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the last Halo Wars game we're going to get. I think the game is really fun. I just don't think... I think the Halo audience is dwindling, especially for an RTS on a console.
That's the hard part.
That's a super rare kind of game on a console. Halo Wars, I think, is the only competent like RTS on a console. By the way, like Pikmin,
Pikmin's an RTS.
Yeah, but not a real one.
You just triggered a lot of Pikmin fans.
No, don't get me wrong. Pikmin's a great game, but it's nowhere near the same. It's got the same.
It's not as in depth, but it is an RTS.
Like I'm not worried about my actions per second.
It's like a mix. Pikmin. It's a mix of RTS and like adventure. I feel like Halo Wars is purely an RTS, and I think it's a super good franchise. The story is kind of really cool too, and they totally left it off. They want to make a third game, like they left it off like they could.
What do you think the fate of the Halo franchise is? Because I feel like with and I'm not a Halo fan, not a Halo hater or anything, just kind of indifferent towards the franchise. But from what I've observed, it seems like with every Halo game since 4, everyone I talked to loved 4. But with every game since then, it seems like people are just kind of like, meh.
Yeah, 4 was... I really enjoyed 4. The faster pace of the multiplayer was very welcomed.
Yeah, it was a nice change.
But it was still very divisive. There were a lot of people that were pissed about it because it got away from the old arena multiplayer format. Mm-hmm. So what they did for Halo 5 was like, we're bringing arena combat back, everybody. But I think it was too late. I think like people all of a sudden had merged over to like Destiny.
Yeah.
Bunch of other like games now, like multiplayer games. There's so many. Overwatch now. Overwatch has a huge base now.
Yeah.
There's so many games pulling away from Halo, and Halo's like this old franchise that hasn't changed a lot. I feel like Halo 4 did change things, but then they went right back. Then they went backwards in Halo 5. They tried to go back and capture the old thing, but I think people had already moved on. In terms of like gameplay, that they were like, I actually liked Halo 4 way more than Halo 5, like the abilities and stuff.
Oh, they were great.
They scaled back the abilities and everything in Halo 5. I was like, this is lame. So, Halo Wars, I don't think we're going to get another one. Like I said, because I don't think it sold well at all. They're really fun. I think Halo 6 is obviously not going to be canceled or anything. But I think if they want to sell well, they need to make some drastic changes to the gameplay and get some buzz around the game. Because if they just limp out the sequel to Halo 5, that's not gonna sell.
People didn't like Halo 5.
No, the campaign was really boring.
Mediocre.
It was mediocre.
I heard Locke was
underwhelming, dude. I was hoping he'd be a really interesting character like the Arbiter from the first trilogy.
That never happened.
That never happened. He was a super like one-dimensional character. His team was really uninteresting. They just didn't give him time to really like flesh out any character. Yeah. And I was just kind of like caring about Master Chief, so whenever we went to Locke's group, I was like, I don't care what is happening here.
That's pretty
He could have been like a really cool character, but they barely did anything with him. And I'll say this, their marketing campaign was misleading.
That decision thing?
There was hints at like decision and choices from some of their marketing and some story elements that never showed up in the game.
The only decision you made was whether or not to finish the game.
There you go. So I'm buying Halo 6, obviously.
Yeah, of course, same here.
But I really think they need to change some gameplay mechanics. Maybe go back to Halo 4. I hate saying that. It's like they're flip-flopping back and forth, but I think they need to look at Halo 4 and kind of evolve that gameplay and get away from Halo 5.
Just end the series and not make a seventh.
I think Master Chief's story will end.
But I'm hoping they end it there and not do the whole Assassin's Creed nonsense.
If they see the sales charts declining and Halo 6 doesn't really right the ship, it's probably over.
So,
which is kind of sad.
It's about
but
time, though.
Stuff has to end eventually.
Yeah.
You need an end. A story needs an end.
There needs to be an end.
Franchises don't want to end anymore. It's really frustrating. I guess
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed.
Oh God,
it had such a decent ending.
I don't.
Yeah, before we end. Oh geez, Marley's triggered. Triggered Assassin's Creed.
I'm sorry. First we brought up Mass Effect, and now Mass Effect.
So, what are we looking forward to
in the future for
this year?
I think that's a great way.
More Switch games.
I think that's a great way to round off the topic. Obviously, Mario Kart's coming up. Super excited. I think we're really excited just for Switch games. I'm E3. I have really high hopes. I say that every year.
Actually, that's not true. My hopes for E3 are so like just meh. I don't know. Really? Like, I don't know what to expect right now. So that if anything good happens, it'll be like yay. If nothing good happens, like all right.
I think the most anticipated thing that I want to see what happens is Scorpio, Microsoft's new console.
I'm just curious.
I'm very, very curious to see what they do with that because I was telling Marley earlier, I think it's kind of like all their eggs are in one basket type deal, which isn't a great position to be in. It's not. I don't think anyone really wants to be in that position, but they are. Their games, their franchises are like dying.
Yeah.
There's games we haven't heard of. They're getting canceled. Yep.
Oh no, that's
when was the last time we heard anything from Crackdown?
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a long time.
I forgot about it.
It's been a long time. So,
yo, can we get a Mario Maker for the Switch?
Yeah, Nate's a big fan of Mario Maker.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just got really into platformers.
Yeah. And of course, don't buy it on the Wii U because
we just thought about it.
We want to play everything on the Switch now.
I thought about going back and just be like, well, I don't know when this is coming out. I'll just buy it for the Wii U. And I'm like, I can wait.
And by the way, everybody, I said I wasn't going to buy Mario Kart 8. And I thought about it more. I was like, all my friends are getting this game.
I was just going to say, you live in a house with two people that
This is going to be super fun to play. And I thought about it some more. I was like, I have a bunch of games I could trade in towards it.
Nice.
So I'm not going to end up having to pay that much for it.
Dude, I'm terrible about trading games in. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I'm looking forward to Super Mario Odyssey.
Of course.
It has been so long since we've gotten a proper 3D Mario. 3D World doesn't count. That weird isometric view, get that
shit out of here.
Get that shit out of here. That game is overrated.
It was fun.
But actual 3D platforming,
I'm so ready.
And all the different worlds look really cool.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Yep.
I can't wait to explore New Donk City.
New Donk.
It's It's gonna be so weird.
Yeah.
Those people, though.
And I'm excited to see what Nintendo does at E3. Like you, Carson.
I really want to see what they announce.
I think Smash Brothers is
Smash Bros. Got to eventually.
Yeah.
The question is, do they reveal a new character? That's the real question.
Yeah.
Because to me, it makes sense. Like the hype levels would go through the roof.
How many new amiibos will they announce at E3?
All the amiibos.
If you had to take a guess right now, what? Give me a number.
At least 8 Link amiibos.
I
think they're going to finish out the Links.
Yeah.
I think we are going to get a new Smash character, so there's going to be him.
Right.
And then I think the Monster Hunter Stories amiibo, and there's 6 of them.
Holy crap.
And then 8 more Squid Kids.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Splatoon 2, Marley.
Oh, dude.
He's going to splat all over the place.
Yeah, I loved Splatoon 1. I got super, super into that.
Yeah. Played
a whole lot of competitive. Got pretty up there. I got to like B rank, I think.
Nice.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
There's, I think...
Bottom?
No.
Bottom feeder?
So I don't remember all the numerical ranks, but it was like B, and then the top 3 were like B, A, and S.
Right, okay. That makes sense.
And I made it to B, and I stayed there for a while.
Cool.
Yeah, I got super into Splatoon. I can't wait. The idea of having Splatoon on the go is awesome because there were so many times where I was away from my Wii U, and I was just like, I want to play this. I want to play
Withdraw. Withdraw.
Got any more of that Splatoon?
Got any more of that Squid?
So, I have one more game before we end the episode.
Yes.
Destiny 2.
Yo!
Yes!
I think there's a lot of bad press around Destiny and all the shenanigans, but I always say this, the gameplay was really fun.
The gameplay was fun, and I kind of trust them to take all the criticism they got and do something good with it.
I still believe in Bungie.
Yes.
They can make a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Marley, I mean, you haven't played many of Bungie's games before, but Destiny is legit. Like, for anyone that disagrees, that's fine, but
it dried up.
The gameplay was solid. They had to recycle a lot of stuff because of shenanigans that happened probably with Activision and stuff, but I think the ship has probably been righted.
Yes.
They've learned from the mistakes. Not the time DLC, which really... that gets me pretty mad.
They definitely they have like a multi-year contract with Sony.
Probably.
I don't think they're getting out of that anytime soon.
And what makes me mad isn't that I don't like time DLC and all that.
Yeah.
But the amount of time that you have to wait.
It was like a year.
It was a year for Xbox users to get some of the DLC, and that is absolutely bullshit for DLC.
Yeah. I was reading an article, I forget which DLC pack it was, but there was a gun. I think it was a pistol that a certain amount of shots, one random shot in the barrel, did a ton of damage. Which it was almost like a one-hit KO. And on the PS4, everyone got to fool around with that gun and experience that. And
was it Hawkmoon?
Yeah,
it was Hawkmoon.
It's gotta be Hawkmoon.
And everyone got to experience the insanity of that.
Yeah.
But it came to Xbox so later that they patched it, and that was just something Xbox users just didn't get to try out.
Yeah.
It's lame. Is that going to be a day one purchase?
I'm going to read reviews. Okay, so I'm not going in blind, like I'm going to buy it. I will read reviews before... Now, here's the problem. I want to pre-order for the beta, though, because then I'll get a taste.
Yeah, but if you don't
pre-order
like it,
you can cancel
it.
Right. So I think I'm going to pre-order it so I can get a taste of what it's going to be like.
Plus, I just want to play some Destiny.
Sure.
I would definitely do that, and if you like the beta, I'd say go ahead and get it, because, like, at least with Destiny 1, that beta was a pretty good indicator of what the final game was going to be.
Yes.
Very rarely are betas true betas anymore. They're just glorified demos.
They're very close to completion.
Yeah.
Also, if it's like anything like the first one, you'll play it for a few months and then sell it. Return it.
Well, actually, that's crazy. I think it was For Honor. It was either For Honor or Halo Wars 2. I forget which one. They had a beta, like, right before launch.
It was For Honor.
It was For Honor?
It was like a week before the game launched. That's not a beta.
That's That's early release.
I think they called it a beta, but it was actually a stress test.
Yeah.
It had to have been a stress test on their servers, like a week before launch, because I'd rather it crash then than the day of launch.
That use of beta, it's just marketing. People think that, I got in the beta, I'm cool. Yeah.
Dude, I got into an alpha once.
Alpha means something.
I got into the alpha for Battlefield, and like, my gun didn't load half the time, but it still fired. Oh, gosh. Some of the barricades were just boxes. Like, that was really fun.
There was some gameplay for Lord of the Rings, Shadow Mordor, the second one. Mm-hmm. They have some alpha gameplay on IGN. Yeah. Game looks pretty
great.
In alpha, looks pretty.
No, I can't wait for that game. I really like the first one.
That game's probably going to be pretty good. Yeah. But, yeah, I think that's a good place to end it for this week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Where can they find you guys at, Marley?
I am on Twitter and Instagram, rebellious_Ewok.
Nate can be found here at YouTube, right?
I'm on Instagram. I think it's Great Goldstein.
Okay.
I haven't checked in a while.
And you guys can find me at Carson_save on Twitter and here at the Geek XP on YouTube. Feel free to comment on this episode, guys. Let us know how you like the episode. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section, and we might answer them maybe in the next episode. I thought that'd be kind of cool to do. Fun. So for anyone that got to the end of this episode, please comment and let us know how it went. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching or listening, and we'll see you at your next save.
Bye.
Adios.